Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into one of the most complicated and frankly disturbing stories of our time, the Epstein Files. Okay, so let's get right into it. When we say the Epstein Files, what are we actually talking about? Because it's a term you hear everywhere, and it's become shorthand for something, well, something much, much bigger than just one news story. The files have been called a profound historical and sociological mirror, and I think that's the perfect way to look at this. We're not just examining a crime here, we're staring into a reflection of our society's deepest flaws. And that's because this whole saga is about so much more than just one man. It's really become this powerful symbol of secrecy, unchecked power, and the public's growing distrust in the very institutions meant to protect us. So, to be super clear, the Epstein Files refers to this massive, ever-expanding collection of official documents. We're talking about court records, those infamous flight logs, depositions. It's the paper trail that, when you piece it all together, paints a horrifying picture of systemic failure. To really get our heads around how this happened, we have to go back in time. And this isn't a story about one single moment, but a long, tragic timeline of missed warnings and, let's just say it, complicity that goes back for decades. And one thing becomes incredibly clear when you look at that timeline. This wasn't some sudden scandal that came out of nowhere. No, the warning signs were there for years, just ignored. It was in every single sense a tragedy foretold. So let's just walk through it. Think about this. As early as 1996, a victim, Maria Farmer, goes to the FBI. Her report is ignored. It takes until 2005 for a real investigation to kick off, but that gets completely derailed by that notorious sweetheart deal in 2008. Then, of course, you have the 2019 rearrest and Epstein's death, which just blew the whole thing wide open. This leads to what some are calling a transparency revolution, with the hypothetical 2025 Transparency Act paving the way for a massive document dump in 2026. And that's what triggered the global fallout we're seeing now. So the big question is, right, how could this possibly go on for so long, practically out in the open? Well, the files reveal what experts have dubbed an architecture of silence. And this is the really critical part. It wasn't just about grooming individual victims. It was about grooming entire institutions. And this brings us to this really chilling concept called institutional grooming. Essentially, Epstein used his money and his influence, his donations, to buy what's been called reputational insurance. He made powerful universities and charities dependent on his money, which made it, well, psychologically very difficult and professionally very risky for anyone inside them to blow the whistle. The case of Karina Shuliak at Columbia University is a textbook example of how this worked. It's almost like a business transaction. Step 1, Epstein needs a favor, get his girlfriend into dental school. Step 2, he activates his network, roping in everyone from his personal dentist to university deans. Step 3, she gets in, even after being rejected at first. And then, Step 4, the deal is sealed with a cool $150,000 donation. It's quid pro quo, plain and simple. And that's not even all of it. On top of the donations, he paid over $630,000 for her tuition. That's just a stark black and white number that shows you how money was used to completely bend the rules. Okay, so all of this brings us to what's being called the political earthquake of 2026. Because the unsealing of all these documents isn't just about digging up the past. It's having massive, real-world consequences all over the globe right now. And the fallout has been swift, and it's been international. In the UK, you have the former Prince Andrew getting arrested. You've got sensitive government info exposed. Over in France, a former culture minister resigns because of his financial ties. And back in the US, universities like Columbia are now under a massive microscope in Congress. But of all the bizarre dramas to come out of these files, one of the most fascinating involves a major player in American politics. It's created something that people are now calling the Bannon paradox. It's really something. On one side, you have Bannon the Crusader, the guy who's out there publicly demanding full transparency, calling Epstein a key that picks the lock on the corrupt elite. But then, the files reveal Bannon the Associate, a guy who was privately advising Epstein on PR strategy, telling him how to crush the pedo/trafficking narrative and rebuild his public image. It's just this incredible example of the selective outrage that surrounds this entire case. So ultimately, when you take a step back from all the individual names and scandals, you realize this is about something bigger. The entire Epstein saga has become a massive stress test for our modern justice system. And when you look at the odds of actually getting justice in that system, the picture is, well, it's grim. In the US, the conviction rate for child sexual abuse is just 14%. For adult rape, it drops to a staggering 1%. 1. That is the cold, hard reality that victims are facing. In fact, the scale of this abuse network was so huge that in 2026, a panel of UN human rights experts released a bombshell statement. They said the acts committed here could reasonably meet the legal definition of crimes against humanity. I mean, that just reframes everything, doesn't it? This isn't just a crime, it's a crime against all of us. I want to share one last detail from the files that really serves as a powerful metaphor for this whole thing. After Epstein died, the guards actually staged a diversion. They used a decoy van with a fake body to distract the press, while his real body was moved completely unnoticed. It's just a chilling reminder of how often the public is left chasing a distraction while the real truth just quietly slips away. So the files really force us to confront a fundamental and honestly a terrifying question that gets right to the heart of our democracy. Can a system truly punish the very people who own that system?